If we have everything we need to succeed, why do we still have the problems we have? Why is this new generation the most unemployed, drunk, drugged, depressed and uninspired? Since the beginning of time, the Greek, the Spanish and the Italian cultures have been our dreamers. They've been some of the most passionate. These are the civilizations from which our greatest human developments have blossomed. But today, the youth are walking around with no vision and no hope and no belief in their capacity for change. Highly fueled emotions mixed with no channel for positive and effective expression brings conflict. You get riots in Greece, you get riots in Spain, you get tears and you get pain. And it takes us further away from our shared goal of peace. We as Rotarians believe that it is in service of others that we find ourselves. The opportunity to serve is the great need of this new generation that you can help fulfill. Our beliefs about what we are and what we can be largely determine what we will be. If we believe in peace, we will work in every possible way to create a peaceful life. The same rules apply if we believe in our often self-imposed limits of hopelessness. Our minds have suddenly made these limits real. So how can we be peaceful when our future is no brighter than our present? But we are all here because we believe in the world not as it is, but as it could be, like we just saw in Constance's video. So first, let me thank you for devoting your time and resources to this mighty challenge. And you are here because you believe that this generation, this new generation, my generation, is destined to succeed. We are the success stories of our ancestors who were smart enough and courageous enough to survive famines, plagues, wars, and the worst kind of natural disasters imaginable. We are the most educated, the most mobile, and the richest generation that has ever walked the earth. And we have significantly increased the length of our lives, living well into our 70s and 80s. Yet with all of this, something is still lacking. What can we achieve with this long, healthy, hopeful lives will surpass the best future any of us sitting here in this room can today possibly imagine? In this world, we really only have two things to give. The first is our love, and the second is our service. Often our service is an expression of our love. We here at Rotary know that the wholehearted giving of ourselves, of our love and of our service is the most meaningful thing in the world. We know this because these moments are so powerful. These moments are so emotional. These moments are so significant that we gave them a name. And we wrote a book. We call them Rotary Moments. Our Rotary Moments remind us why we really exist. We exist to serve others. We exist for something greater than ourselves. We exist to serve above self. We exist, as you know, this world is not about me, it's about us. Your Rotary moment is that moment where you find yourself in the service of others. That moment of connection with your true self, your better self, that self you know you were meant to be. And that moment, if only for a moment, everything makes sense. Rotary moments, in a sense, are bridges. They take us from who we are today to who we want to be tomorrow. The bridge between the world as it is today and the world as it could be tomorrow. And my journey has brought me the absolute pleasure of working with the most talented, brightest students on the planet. Whether it's been my studies in Australia or in Japan or even in Germany, I can attest that our most brilliant young minds tend to illustrate a common theme. And that theme is passion. There are those who love what they do and those who do not. The difference in striving for your cause with great purpose and focus is in a peaceful balance of my why and my how, and in the belief that is possible. And this passion can change the course of a life completely. It changed the course of my life completely. And while culture and tradition play a tremendous role in our development, there are two unifying elements of these people of passion. Elements that exist beyond religion and exist beyond belief. And these are motivation and mobilization, the will and the how. The motivation is a focus where your vision is so compelling that it becomes not what you do, it's who you are. You move from someone who dances to a dancer, someone who paints to a painter. And then you have mobilization. They take this crystal clear vision from the world as it could be, and they find the best resources. They find the best tools, the best map, the best mentor, and the best strategies. Because success leaves clues, and the wise follow these clues, which can be emulated in purpose and practice. Mobilization is what realizes every motivation into a success. However, we all know people who have every motivation to act and don't, every tool to act and don't. And what is the difference between these people? And I believe the answer is in conflict. The answer is in inner conflicts. It's the most dangerous form of conflict because they're quiet and you can hide them. And the world never, ever, ever knew they existed. This is the kind of conflict that just after going 2 steps forward, it brings you 3 steps back. And if you manage to push through the first barrier, you get the second one, which is, do I deserve this? Me, who am I to deserve this? How can we unbind ourselves from our self-imposed limits when we are conflicted? How can we find peace when we are being pulled in 2 ways? And my dream is for each young person to build their bridge from their world as it is to their world as it could be. Youth with inner peace have the confidence to connect with those around them, with vulnerability and empathy. And what psychology tells us about vulnerability and empathy is that they are the seeds for innovation, creativity, and change. And innovation, creativity, and change are necessary for the developments that we need in our society, in our governments, in our economies, in our education systems, in our hospitals. Inner peace is the courage in your heart to know that even if I fail this time, even if I fail this time, if it doesn't come together this time, that's okay. Because I have someone who believes in me, and that is what gave me the willingness and sense of purpose to try when there are no guarantees. And more importantly, a youth at peace with themselves can be the light the others need to do the same. And how do I know this? Because I cannot help but believe that the hands of destiny brought me to you today. The course of my life was completely transformed by Rotary Youth Exchange. And I wasn't even the one who went on exchange, it was the girl next to me. Her name was Rieko Fukazawa, and she's still my very best friend still today. And through her I met her host family, and then I met some Rotarians, and some more Rotarians, and then now I'm talking to you as your Ambassadorial scholar. I could believe that all of these moments are coincidence. I could also believe that I'm destined to be here with you this morning. I'm standing here before you because I had mentors who looked me in the eyes and said, we believe in you. I could do the rest. We as Rotarians know that human communities depend upon a diversity of talent and not in a singular conception of ability. We represent an inspiring number of diverse disciplines here this morning. One of our guidelines is to dignify each Rotarian's occupation with the opportunity of service. You can help give our youth the same chance. We deserve the same chance. The way back to peace and the way back to each other is in finding yourself through service, solving our inner conflicts through a deep belief in your own self-worth. So today I ask 2 things from you. Number 1 is that you need to find your dreamer. Choose someone right now, a young person who has the will but they need a way. And if you don't know someone, there's always your Rotary Youth Exchange officer. And I want you to take them and look them in the eyes and reassure them that they're not doing this scary journey alone, that you believe in them and that it's okay, and that you'll be there when there's no guarantees and there is no need to fear, no need for inner conflicts. And the second is I need you to be a believer. And this is the most important, because I need you to give not what you do, we can access that on the internet and plus more. I need you to give who you are. If you choose, you can have the opportunity to provide resources and guidance to release this passion and completely change the trajectory of many young lives. And the funny thing about being a believer and a dreamer is that you're constantly moving between the 2. Sometimes you're a dreamer, sometimes you're a believer. And right now in front of you, I'm a dreamer and you're my believer. But there's someone who I heard yesterday in one of our speeches who moved me so deeply that I became his believer. So much so that I was sitting there in tears, and his name is Francis. And then I thought, Francis doesn't need my tears. What he needs is a how. He doesn't need a why, he needs a how, which is why I wrote a letter in Japanese to our Rotary president to share his story.